Hey, thank you all so much for joining another episode of Celeste The Therapist Podcast. And my name is Celeste. I'm a therapist from Boston. If you're new here, I want to just say thank you for being here. A lot of people, you have found me on my daily shifts episodes that I started in December, where you get these 2-minute episodes around things that you can work on. They're very short and easy to digest. And then for my old listeners, so a few years ago, I used to interview people, and we used to have monthly episodes with Jermaine Morris. We're in 2026, and my goal is to sprinkle in some interviews. And of course, I wanted to start with Jermaine, since he has been a huge staple of the podcast. And I'm going to bring it to Jermaine to have him introduce himself to you all.
Hi, I'm Jermaine Morris. I'm a coach and consultant, and my focus is based around self-awareness without judgment. And so I like to work with people and kind of highlight how we are, what we do, not through the lens of if it's good, bad, right, or wrong, but just is how we operate in the world. And if we're having challenges, then what's the best way to address them?
Yeah, and uh, how did we, was it through Romney? How did I meet
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Through
okay.
Romney, yeah.
So, yeah, when I met Jermaine years ago, and the idea of self-awareness without judgment, it just like really spoke to me because of the work that I do. I recognize how people judge themselves. And I'm always reminding them of like what they had to do to get through hard moments and how they are. I feel like the mental health system in America, at least, makes people feel defective. And that inner voice can be so loud. Tell people why it's so important as they're going through whatever journey they are to work on not judging themselves in the process.
Base value, it's not very productive, just
Mm.
number one. And then, however we are where we are, however we got there, whatever the each of our individual walk, our journey, it's just how we handle stuff.
Hmm.
It's how we communicate, it's how we interact, it's how we approach the world or how we react to it. And it's not necessarily based on if it's the right way to do it or the
Yeah.
wrong way to do it. We can just look at tangible results. And if those results are where we want to be or not where we want to be. And
Yeah.
if there's some areas where we don't want to be, well, then we can just make some steps, some adjustments.
Yeah.
It's no more different than slightly adjusting our form when we work out. You know, okay, we
Mm.
just pull your shoulders back a little bit. Okay, that now you're hitting the muscles you want to hit and you're getting the results you want to get. Instead of beating myself up over, oh, I'm a horrible gym person, I'm a horrible weightlifter, I'm a
Yeah.
horrible, bicep curler. No, just gotta straighten up a little bit, bend your knees, see how you
Yeah.
feel there now. Yeah, better result. That's what you wanted. Correct. Okay, let's move forward.
Yeah, Jim, I feel like you're like the king of analogies. Like that analogy, because I'm at the gym all the time. That analogy, I love it because when we are at the gym and if we're working on our form or working on something, we don't just we're okay with making the adjustments.
Yeah,
We're processing, right? But I feel like in life, and especially depending on your environment or how you grew up, I don't know if we do a good job at like processing or becoming aware of what's happening, and we just stay in this like deformed state. Lack of a better word, like we stay
yeah.
in that same state without making any adjustments. And I don't know if we realize we have power to make the adjustments. I think sometimes people think like, well, this is just how I am, you know?
Yeah. A lot of that. And most of us are taught if we're not reaching the desired goal that we're wrong or that we're
Ah,
bad
yeah,
or
yeah,
that we
yeah,
failed.
yeah.
And so when everything goes through that lens, if everything's pass or fail, then it's if I had used bad form, I'm failing at doing this.
Yes, it's black and white. People look at
Yes.
things in black and white.
As
Okay.
opposed to being, okay, well, that's a little different, a little tweak, little
Yeah,
movement. And so when we're learning more about ourselves, it's we're unlocking doors.
yeah.
If you're judging yourself on what's on the other side of a door that you've never opened,
Mm,
that's gonna be you're constantly gonna be putting yourself in a negative space. It's like,
yeah.
well, how come you don't know what's over there? Well, because the door's locked. I ain't even
Yes.
opened it.
Yes.
So all we're doing is just opening doors, and then we're
Yes.
seeing what's in there, assessing what's in there, and then we
Yeah.
decide if we want to keep what's in there or not.
Yes, yes,
Keep what we
yes.
want to keep, get what we don't want to do, go on to the next door.
Yeah.
Not all the judgment part's not necessary for the process.
Yes, yes. And it's so crazy. So Jermaine has a book that just came out. And as you're talking about doors, I'm like, duh, like the book title. Like if you're on YouTube watching, I'm sharing the title of his book, My Keys to Me,
Yes.
Strategies to Rise and Thrive. This just literally goes into your introduction of who you are and why you do what you do goes into this book, which makes sense that you wrote something that you're passionate about. When you say My Keys to Me, tell
Yes.
people how you came up with that name.
A lot of us have the things about ourselves. These are different keys.
Mhm.
And part of the issue some of us run into is that we think that we have a certain way that's a skeleton key for everything.
Ah, like a
And
one
so
size
maybe
fits all.
the key that we use when we talk to our coworker may not be the same key we communicate with our children.
Hmm.
The way that we approach this may not be the way that we approach that. There's different
Hmm.
keys for different doors. And so sometimes it's understanding that we just have to we are not going to get through this door with this key.
Hmm.
So the way that we communicate, the way that how we make decisions, the type of system, how we approach it, how we, interact and whatnot is that it's not universal. So you'll
Okay.
hear people say, well, this is just how I am.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to everybody the same. Okay, well, if you stick to this particular method, there may be some areas where you don't get the desired results you want because
Yeah.
this approach won't get you there.
Yeah.
You can procrastinate at the job that you're not super focused on.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden you want to start your own business.
Yeah.
If you approach your business the way you approach the job that you weren't really focused on, you're probably not going to get the desired results you want.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there's going to be a certain degree of, okay, I didn't really focus on systems and time management over here, but I'm going to now need to tap into that over there.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so when it's referring to different keys, they're still all parts of us.
Hmm.
So we don't have to not adapting and becoming a new person.
Right, right, right.
But sometimes it's understanding, okay, I need to tap into this a little bit more or a little bit less, and
Yeah.
understanding which key is the right key for the door I'm trying to open.
Okay. And let's put this in like practical terms. You're a very
Okay.
practical person.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about the listener that might be thinking that you're asking them not to be authentic and not to be who they are.
Okay.
But it sounds like what you're saying is that let's say my family we talk loud in in my
Yes.
family, like we're loud talkers. And then I'm at work and I'm talking loud. The emails are kind of the way that I talk to my family because that's what we
Yeah.
do. Like it's all love. It sounds like what you're saying, and it instead of me going to work and people are like, "Can you like tone it down a little bit?" Instead of me saying like, "Well, this is just how I am,"
Yeah.
and I want a promotion. I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out why I'm not getting promotion. It sounds like what you're saying is be mindful of how you are in certain environments, especially when it comes to your goals, because
Yes.
we all have goals. And I think that some people struggle with feeling stuck because they don't, I guess, look at the areas of their life that they may need to make adjustments in. Do you think that's pretty accurate?
Yeah. And sometimes we're pattern based as
Mm,
humans. And so sometimes it's not even a conscious thought
yes.
that I talk differently to my family than I do to my job.
Yeah.
It may not even register that I need to talk differently at work. It doesn't register until there's consequence.
Yeah.
And so for some of us when we're moving through life or we're doing things, it's the self-awareness part. It's, oh, maybe I got passed over for promotions twice. Let me look at maybe why. Oh, okay, maybe how I approach this might be a factor into
Yeah.
why it's not. My relationships keep ending after this time period this way. Maybe it's not everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it's the pattern of the type of person I chose in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I keep after a while I have this pattern of every 18 months I feel stagnant and complacent.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm doing different things, I still keep ending up in the same place. Okay, well
Right.
maybe there's a pattern of what I'm doing that's keeping me in the same loop. So when it starts to learning ourselves and identifying what we're doing, it's okay. I have this habit of doing this. So this key, I'm opening the same three doors. And then I'm using these keys to get into these particular doors. And I keep ending up in the same place.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe I need to start. I got a whole janitor key ring,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I got my three favorite ones
Yeah.
that I keep using or that I'm used to using.
Yeah.
I got a whole key ring.
Hmm.
It's almost like in the saying the alphabet. If every key was a letter of the alphabet, you just love G, L, and C. So yeah, but you got a whole other you got a whole lot of other keys
Other
that
options.
open
Yeah.
other doors. Your car key may be your favorite key, but it won't let you into your house.
Hmm.
So all it will get let you into is your car. So then you find yourself always in your car. It doesn't mean you couldn't get into multiple houses or doors, or you're just using the
Hmm.
car key. So
Hmm.
that's why and you'll inadvertently find yourself always in the car.
Hmm.
Habit.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I don't want to be in the car all the time. Okay, well then you got keys that will let you in other places. But
Hmm.
you're it's being mindful of the fact that my default settings keep leading me here. So let me start maybe getting out of my default settings
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
intentionally
Yeah.
start using some of these other keys, unlocking some of these other doors and seeing where that gets me.
I like that. And when Jermaine talks about habit, because it's not as if we're walking around consciously recognizing that we're not using these other
Yeah.
keys. Our mind and system loves things that are familiar, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't realize that, but then there's so many distractions that are taking place around the world, our phones, just life. And so we just keep going and then we struggle and we complain. And as Jermaine's talking, I think about something he said on the podcast. The thing that we need to do, it seems like, as you're talking about, it's kind of like you're walking over a puddle, but it feels like you're trying to walk through the Grand Canyon when you start to do it. And the reason why there's this resistance that takes place with something that seems like it's so easy, it's because your system is struggling with the change. Share with people, because I want to talk about the kind of the barrier to that, where the role the ego plays in being able to articulate to yourself, like, okay, these people aren't they're not doing anything wrong. They just don't this place, they don't like me talking loud in this place, and that's okay. Versus my ego, like, who do they think they are? This is just how I am, right?
Yeah.
I think the ego plays a huge role in our ability to create change. So share with people a little bit about that's a barrier that I'm thinking that comes up as we're trying to like look at our keys and what works for us. And if you think of any other barrier that you notice that comes up, please share.
Yeah. So ego-based stuff would say, I'm fine the way I am. What difference does it make if I do my job the same, what
Hmm.
difference does it make if I'm loud?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
certain rules, everybody needs to start at 8.
Hmm.
Well, I can still get done by 9, so what difference does it make? Like ego will have us looped into trying to double down on why we do the things that we do.
Hmm.
Sometimes if you've grown up in critical environments, where somebody saying something to you, it automatically gets interpreted to you're insulting me or
Right.
you're judging me.
Hmm.
If it's no, we speak it, we 6-inch voices in the
Yeah.
office. It's not you need to speak quiet. Everybody
It's a
speaks quiet.
system. Yeah.
But if you're used to living in critical worlds, all you hear is the way I speak is wrong.
Hmm.
And then I can double down on, well, you ain't gonna tell me to be quiet, or I may not say anything anymore. You can start having the idea of being challenged to get out of a pattern attached to the ego. You can
Yes.
have like a huge response to something that wasn't even the case.
Yes. Yes.
So making changes can be difficult when we attach ourselves to it, when
Hmm.
we make everything about us and we make ourselves the center of the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
when it's and so that can become difficult because sometimes we can't step back and see the big picture that this is not somebody challenging me
Yeah.
or somebody criticizing me. This is somebody just saying this is how it is here.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I just need you to be like everybody else here.
Hmm. I love that. And Jermaine, when he talked about growing up in critical environments, I think about inner child stuff, and I think about the way that we grew up. So something that's really important to remember for my audience is that our system doesn't have concept of time.
Yes.
And so I'm at the workplace. Jermaine's telling me like, "Oh, can you keep it down?" And he's saying it because of the environment at the workplace. But if I grew up in an environment where I was literally judged, right? If I haven't worked through that judgment and become self-aware what that feels like, my system is doing what it's designed to do. As soon as Jermaine says that, my system puts me on alert and it says, "Oh my gosh, Jermaine is judging you," right? And so I appreciate you sharing that piece about the way you grew up because the way and this we're talking about workplace, but this comes up a lot in relationships. That's I feel like that's where the most of our traumas or our upbringing kind of gets attacked is in those kind of intimate relationships. And so if you're struggling and you're feeling like you're on this hamster wheel in your relationship, be mindful of listening to like what your partner is saying and without judgment, right? It's okay to feel, I think it's okay to feel upset that, you could feel how you feel, right?
Yeah.
But then take some time to look at like your behaviors and look at like, well, can I make an adjustment, right? Is it going to harm me to make an adjustment? And I think sometimes we get so bogged down in who we think we are and how we should respond that we don't want to make the adjustments and we struggle. So, the way that you grew up plays a huge role in the way that you're perceiving the world.
Yes. Yeah. And to certain people, even something as basic as accountability sounds like blame.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if we're just having a conversation on what's necessary, what the requirements are here, what are the
Yeah.
benchmarks, what are the behaviors, anything that's, if I'm not saying you're perfect, then some people just interpret that
Yeah.
instantly as blame.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is my fault. It's
Hmm.
my fault. No, but like, and so that can be hard to change behaviors because if you everything shifts to I feel like I'm being blamed, I feel like I'm being challenged, I feel like I'm being criticized.
Hmm.
Um, that's every step to the new behavior is a step through blame,
Hmm.
criticizing,
Yeah.
and that just can become overwhelming
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
where it's just safer
Yeah.
to stay in the pattern of behavior that we're familiar with
Yeah.
because every step away from it, I feel like I'm judged in every step, even if that's
Yeah.
not even real
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah. I want to say this, and then I want to go into what people can expect in the book.
Okay.
When Jermaine says safer, if you're not watching, he put that in quotation marks. And familiar and safe doesn't equal healthy.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of times we know what we know. We grew up in chaos. We continue to entertain chaos. I can't tell, I work with so many people. We work on the struggles and we work on making connections. And then, there's a little piece. And then I say, pay attention to like you getting into something different. And as I say that, they start to recognize, oh my gosh, like I felt the urge to, you know, be a part of whatever drama or this thing that's creating anxiety, especially when it comes to anxiety. You've been dealing with the anxiety for so long. Watch you deal with that one issue, something else tries to come creeping in.
Yes.
And so if you're not mindful of like the role the role that your history played in your life, you won't be able to create change, right? But it's possible, like our brain can create new patterns to even if we've been used I was used to chaos and toxicity and living in survival mode. I always worried about like what was next. And I've changed, so like sometimes I'm in awe at how much peace I feel. And I always like to share that because I don't want people to think I talk like this because I'm a therapist or because I had a silver spoon growing up. It's because of the little small changes I created, the things that Jermaine's talking about understanding myself, about putting my ego down. Like literally, this is the blueprint. And it's not about like me and Jermaine are a lot alike. It's not about us trying to sell you a dollar in a
Yeah.
dream. We're
Yeah.
literally telling you these little steps you take can create like big changes. So this the when you are trying to change and you're trying to figure out why do I keep feeling like it's hard or why do I feel that's normal. Like that's a part of the process. Like
Yes.
you are fighting your own self, believe it or not. Like I tell people it's not you against the world, it's you against you.
Yes.
And the more I think when people start to understand that better, I feel like they're able to go through the process. Kind of like if the doctor's like, "Oh, you're going to experience this like thing as your arm is healing."
Yeah.
You're not like freaked out. You're not stopping the process. You're like, "Okay, this is what's going to happen. The doctor's already warned me." And I think if you can recognize as you're trying to create these changes that you're going to struggle with the resistance of it
Yeah.
because this new healthy way of operating is new to your system. Somebody gets a heart transplant, the heart that they're getting is new, but their system is going to struggle with that new heart because it's foreign and you're introducing a foreign substance to your life. And I think if you can think about it that way, it can really help relieve some of the ways that you are struggling with how hard it feels.
Definitely. I appreciate that. And I think sometimes we forget that patterns aren't accidental.
Hmm.
They're programs. So it's not like we just randomly keep falling into the same pattern every day.
Hmm.
There's a program. There's a whole system put in place through mentally, emotionally, physically, physiologically. We've got ourselves in a particular pattern of behavior, of emotional responses, of expectation, of all that. That's a lot of hard wiring to reroute.
Hmm.
So it's gonna feel some resistance. Like, yeah, similar, but if we accept that first,
Yeah.
okay, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I liken stuff to like day-to-day life. The first time you go to the gym that you've never been in a long time,
Right.
it's gonna be hard,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna feel it. Those,
Yes.
those next few days, it's like, okay, you're gonna be sore for a few days.
Yeah.
Just a heads up, but I still need you to come back tomorrow.
Yes, yes. The gym, like I remember like when I started, like I would have to look up how to use a machine, blah blah blah. Now I'm just moving through there, and I was just thinking about that the other day about how at ease I am with it. But it took me repeating the pattern over and over again before my system got used to it, and now it feels like second nature. I promise we can do hard things. I tell people that all the time. Like so many things I've done over the years has not been easy. I'm a very transparent person. I talk about the fear and the anxiety that comes up for me, but I don't base my decisions off of the fear and anxiety. I notice them. I'm aware. I don't judge myself for them. And I think that's the key. That's the key to getting through. So. Tell people about, so this is a workbook, right? Tell
Yes.
people about so we spent some time talking about our programming and how we have different keys to us and how we keep using the same key because we think this is just the way that we are.
Yeah.
Tell people a little bit about what they can expect from the workbook.
So it's broken. What I wanted to do is have a book that takes things out of theory and actual has practical application. So
Hmm.
like chapter one is apply here, and it works under the premise of, if you can't use the information, you're not learning, you're just being entertained. Like if you read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, go to
Yeah.
all the lectures,
Yep.
but can't do anything with the information,
Yeah.
you were just entertained.
Yeah.
And so it's about the application of the information. Chapters about being intentional, on prioritization, time management, with actual templates throughout the book of
Oh,
to
nice.
plug in an example. So it's not just the theory of it's good to be on time. It's I'm having difficulty. Here's my schedule. Here's a way to incorporate my schedule to what I'm doing and some
Yeah.
principles around time management that I
Yeah.
can then use today. That's
Okay.
my whole premise with most things is what can I do today?
Yes. Yeah.
So as you go through the book, there's chapters on goal setting, on self-awareness, on the use of affirmations. That a lot of times, oh, an affirmation is a good thing. It's nice. It's okay. But how do I actually use it? Okay, well, here's
Mm-hmm.
an actual some steps in different departments that address different things with actual ways to use them, involving journaling and like it's the whole book is designed that I can read this chapter by chapter. Don't even worry about going cover to cover, just to be able to read a couple of paragraphs, read a page, and
Mm-hmm.
being able to take the information on that page and I can do something with it right now.
Nice. Nice. And I think that's important
Yeah.
because a lot of times we look at the barriers, the financial barrier, like we look at all these barriers when it
Yeah.
comes to change. And we feel, so you get the book, it sounds like there are things that they can literally start in this moment. Can
Yes.
you give people an example on something that comes up in the book that they're able to kind of start in this moment as they're working through the workbook?
Yeah. So there's an area of keeping the main thing the main thing.
Hmm.
So a lot of times we overwhelm ourselves with all of these other things that we attach to something. So
Yep.
say if it's something simple as I want to get more rest. Like
Okay.
I'm tired. I don't get enough sleep. Okay, well, let me create an environment to sleep. Do
Hmm.
I just fall asleep with the TV on, with this going, am I doing a whole bunch of stuff? Am I on my phone right before I go to bed? Like, okay, well, if the goal is to get to bed by 10, okay, let me start a process, a system of
Hmm.
shutting down by 9:30.
Hmm.
Let
Hmm.
me clear out all the tabs of my day so I can relax.
Yes.
Let me start applying things behaviorally.
Yeah.
Like I need to start doing things because a lot of times we get hung up in the idea of I need more information.
Yes.
I need to learn more of this. I need to learn more. No, I just need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm trying to get myself to where I can rest more, if I'm trying to do where I can be more productive, use my time better, if I'm trying to do things where procrastination is an issue, what have you, it's okay, what can I do? Let me
Hmm.
look at how I do things. I have too much going on. I'm trying to do two or three things at once. Let me get in the habit of, let me get this one thing down.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I've got this one thing down. Now, can I add two things and still be productive with two?
Hmm.
Can
Hmm.
I do three and be in this time period? Then I find out where the line is.
Yeah.
So I can handle these three things in a 60-minute time period that doesn't overlap. Okay, so now I need to, the previous hour, what can I get done there? Like
Mm.
there's actual system. Okay, well, I can only do two things from 8 to 9, but I can do three things from 9:15 to 10, and I can
Mhm.
do one thing from 10:15 to 10:45. Like I learn myself based on what I have to do. And then once I figure out me and figure out how I work, then I put the system in place to support it.
Nice.
So that's a lot in words in a conversation, but that's why the book is designed to actually go a step-by-step process on how to do that.
Yeah, I love that because we will say things I need to get more rest, or let's just use, people will be like, oh, I want to, or I want my room to look better,
Yeah.
and I'll start with like, let's just start with making up your bed.
Yeah.
And that's such a powerful thing to do because you wake up first thing in the morning, you make up your bed, and maybe there's still clothes everywhere and things are everywhere, but your bed's made up, and that is the start. And I think we get so caught up in the goal of like, I want my full room to be clean.
Yes.
Like, but then it's like if you haven't been cleaning it, it's not realistic that you're gonna all of a sudden get everything done at one time.
Yes.
So let's just start with one thing. And the amount of like joy that people come back with about I cleaned my room. I mean, I made up my bed all week. Like it's just for me it's like powerful because I know they're building confidence because
Yes.
it's kind of like, oh, I'm just a messy person or I'm just a procrastinator. Like they claim these things about them
Yeah.
and and I tell them you don't realize your mind's listening to you when you say those things, but to see them make up their bed and find joy in that, I think is so dope.
Yeah, because we'll start off with I don't have time
Mm-hmm.
to do it.
Yep.
So if it's like I don't have time to clean up this whole room every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you find out that you had enough time to make your bed. Okay. So maybe the first day that was it. Then the second day you realize, okay, I made up my bed and I still have an extra 10 minutes. So I was able to finally put away the laundry that's been sitting on the couch for whatever.
Right.
Okay. So then the next day, I don't have to do laundry again. So I still have time to make the bed, but now I have time to organize these shoes that are all over the place.
Yes.
Now, the next day, I'm not organizing my shoes every day and I'm not putting the laundry away every day. So now I still make my bed. Now I can sort out some of these papers that are on my desk.
Nice.
Okay. So then I'm not sorting papers every day. So some of these things we're checking them off,
Yeah.
but we're thinking, I can't do all this stuff at once. Okay. Yeah. But you're not doing all these things all the time.
Right, right,
So as
right.
we start getting in the habit, so the base level is making her bed. But now all of a sudden by Friday, the laundry's been put away, the shoes have been organized, the papers have been set together. Now all I'm doing is maintaining, making my bed in the clothes I wear that day.
Wow, that's good.
And so now it's like, okay, I have enough time to make my bed every day and then just put away the clothes that I wore for the
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
miraculously, I have a week, the very next week now, I have a clean room.
yes. And what I hear you saying is like I usually ask you for one example. I just
Yeah.
happened to talk about we talked about this. But what I hear you saying in the book, they're getting practical ways to make this happen because what you're talking about is kind of like what I talk about with people doing, but I don't have like a workbook or a framework for it where it's
Yeah.
written. And I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like with this book, people are gonna not the things that they've heard over the years or know that needs to happen because the knowing, I always say there's a bunch of podcasts, a bunch of books, but then like the action piece is the piece that's missing.
Yeah.
I hear you saying is that this book helps people with the action piece that they're missing from all of the information that they've encountered probably over the
Yes, it
years.
breaks things down to like when it comes to like goal setting and put stuff like the smarter method or
Hmm.
here journaling prompts to someone say, well, you should journal, it's good. Well, what does that mean? Oh, well, here's
Yeah.
some actual questions to ask yourself
Okay.
to help to start with.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
as you do it more and more, you will ask yourself more in-depth questions. But here are some
Yeah.
prompts to get started.
Yeah.
Here are some concepts around time that will help it make sense a little bit better into
Yeah.
why if you continue, these particular practices have a tendency to be ineffective.
Okay.
And so if these are the practices that you're currently sticking to, this is probably why you're running into these issues. So let's
Mm.
try maybe moving these a little bit and see how that does.
Mm.
Like some actual practice, because
Practical.
yeah, because that's the biggest thing I've just seen in so much stuff. Because I think a lot of us, what is it? We overestimate insight
Yes.
and underestimate habit.
Yes. 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 Oh my gosh. Habit is so huge.
Yeah, we put so much on learning. I
Yes.
need all the answers. I need all the this. I need all the that. And we're still standing in the same place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we understand it's like, no, if we just do a little bit different.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So just don't get so bogged down in the details and the minutia
Yeah.
of the
Yeah. Yeah.
information. Here are some things to do differently
Yes. Yes. Yes.
to get these different results.
And I'm like grateful. Like I'm somebody that don't think about like the little things
Yeah.
and I just go for it and I go back to the drawing board. It wasn't until I was in private practice I realized people do tend to like overthink or is this gonna work or how do I do this or let me take another conference, let me take another
Yeah.
class. And you feel good during that time, right?
Yes.
It's January. People the world or America at least they're talking about new year new me all of these things that they want to change everybody's talking about it you're feeling that motivation because you're surrounded by it on social media people are selling things and talking about it gyms are having these things and what happens when you leave that January, right? What happens when like I think 21 days by like next the 25th or 26th people change
Yeah.
back to their old programming?
Oh, you can get a parking space at the gym now.
Yeah. How is that? Oh, wait.
Oh yeah, all them folks who was there the first 10 days, first
Yeah,
two
and they
weeks.
really in those first 10 days they really feel motivated and
Oh,
it's
it's
kind of
back. You
like
can get a space now.
and it's like, how do I continue to apply this? And one thing it sounds like with the book, you can make that part of your staple, right? You can like first thing in the morning, what am I doing today? What am I looking at?
Yes.
And make it part of your staple. The more that you are, and I know this from personal experience, as I've worked on myself, I've read the books, I've listened to the podcast, written the things out. And so even though my the life didn't look like what I wanted, I started walking in alignment with the direction I wanted to go.
Yes.
I didn't allow my past circumstances to stop me from walking in alignment. I spoke the affirming over my life, even though it wasn't happening in the moment. And so, if you are somebody that is feeling stuck and you want to get out of your own way, you know, a lot of times people realize I'm in my own way. People have said that. But what do I do with that? Right? Like, I know I'm
Yes.
in my own way, but how do I do that? How do I act on these things that I know I need to change? It sounds like my keys to me is the way to do it.
It is a good start. So we talked before about every year having themes
hmm
about the year. So it's a practice I've kind of a mantra I've used before, but I've directly applied to this year, and it kind of goes in alignment with the book, is that we can't think our way out of something that we behaved our way into.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's a whole sermon.
Yeah. So if you behaved your way into something,
hmm
you're going to have to behave your way out. If
That's good.
you behaved your way into being 200 pounds overweight,
hmm
you can research all the trainers, all the nutrition,
Yeah.
the best workouts, the best
Yeah.
gym, the best equipment. But if you're spending all your time just on the internet doing the research, you haven't burned 1 calorie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you behaved your way into the food you ate or the inactivity or the motion. So you may not know how to get all 200 pounds off, but behavior would say, I sit all day. So if
hmm
I just move,
Yeah.
I may not have all the information on the best workouts or the best equipment, but I know if I just move because I
hmm
don't move.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like I
That's
know
good.
if I just walk because I don't walk.
Yeah.
I don't like I need to be I can't I need to behave my way out of what I behaved
Yeah.
my way into.
Yeah.
So when we read books or go to lectures or conferences or listen to podcasts, whatever, that's we're still we're thinking, and you do need information,
Yeah.
you know, to make informed decisions. But in that is I need to be doing something.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Yeah.
So I can't think my way out of something I behaved my way into. So whatever the situation is, whether it be professionally, relationally, physically, if I'm trying to get better in whatever facet of my life that I'm trying to lock in on, I need to have an action attached to this change that I want to make.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I said for people, if you read a book and at the end you have no action steps, that wasn't education, that was entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there needs to be something just okay. I like I said, for people who get the book, it's not super big, but it's like you don't worry about going cover to cover. Like I said, if you go, it's in sections and it's broken up. If I just take this paragraph, what can I do with this paragraph? And then I'll do something with the next paragraph.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll do
Yeah.
something with the next section. And do something with like, don't feel like you had to change the world in one day, but I'm gonna take some behavior and modify it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's where you start finding all those other, you start using all those other keys.
Yeah.
Start
That's
finding all those
good.
other ones on the ring. You're like, yeah, I know these keys are there, but I never use them.
Mm-hmm.
I know I can do this, but I just don't. Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's start seeing what's in some of these doors. Let's start seeing what's when I start accessing some of these other parts of me.
Because I know I tell people I feel like our system knows we're capable of more, you know, and so as you start using those new keys, you'll start to gain more confidence. You'll start to be sure of yourself. Because deep down inside, before all the junk took place, I feel like I always say babies, they don't like fall and then stop,
Yeah,
right? They keep getting up and they do that because they're constantly seeing people walk around. And so their goal is in front of them. And I think if you, and like Jermaine said, it's not about reading the book cover to cover. It's about taking, it's the book, it's the pod, it's all of these things, but then doing the thing will help your mind realize like, oh shoot, Celeste is going in a different direction, right? Initially it's going to be shaky, right? My system is going to fight back, but over time it's going to be like, all right, I guess this is what we're doing. Like literally I felt like that's what happened with me, right? Like I, I was doing the thing even though I was like, I don't know how this is going to work, but something has to give. Like I literally stepped out on faith. And for people that are listening to this and kind of struggling in life, try and even if it's like, you know what, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try it. Try to step out on faith and do the thing. If what you're, I would say, if what you're doing right now isn't working, why not try something different? Like, why, like, why not?
Yeah, they're doing, and most of us, if we look back, I love the fact how much you address how much of our childhood informs how we are as adults. Is that most of us were conditioned down to three keys.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
So when we were children, we were trying all kinds of stuff. We were
Yeah.
trying all kind of different approaches, and somebody or multiple somebodies
Yeah.
stifled a lot of those other things.
Mm.
Told us boys don't do this, or girls don't behave that way, or children are this, or you're supposed to be that, or when and all of a sudden stop doing that. Don't be
Yeah.
this way. Don't, and we just start whittling down to what keys keep me out of the crosshairs,
Yeah, I know.
or which keys got me praise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes it was we had a whole direction we wanted to go in, but that wasn't supported. But if I did this thing over here, somebody told me I was a great son, or I was the smart daughter, or I was the
Right.
responsible child, or
Yeah.
I received praise for doing these things over here. So I just kept doing them because that's
Mm-hmm.
what got people paid attention to me or maybe said things that made me feel good. So I just abandoned all these other things that maybe were what my first nature was
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
go where I felt more supported.
Mm.
And so we have all these other things that we can do that we're capable of, that we're passionate about, that we were conditioned and programmed out of using.
Mm-hmm.
So those
That's
keys that
so
are on the
good.
key ring, a lot of times it wasn't all based in fear, guilt, or shame or critical thinking. Sometimes it was just like there was no hugs over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody cared that I was a good painter, but they
Yeah.
cared when I broke out the microscope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody cared that I could sing, but they cared that I could run fast for track and came home with a trophy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And in those moments that we experience growing up, it's not like we're consciously like, okay, we're checking off a box.
Yeah,
Over time, that's how our mind is so powerful that it just works on adapting, and we
yeah,
adapt to certain ways to be okay and to, and it's not that your parent may have sat down and said, "Hey, I like it better when you do this and not that." You
yeah.
paid attention to their responses, right?
Yes.
And a lot of us, especially in the Black community, grew up in survival mode. Our parents grew up in survival mode, and they may have been a provider, but emotionally, they may not have had the tools to give us what we needed. And so it's not about them being bad. It's about like being aware of the things that we lacked and how maybe our system is trying to seek it out in different ways, and how that may be keeping us stuck.
A lot of us were raised through the lens of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to make sure my kid is tough enough for
Yeah.
this world. I need to
Yeah.
make sure they have these behaviors or instill these things in them that weren't in me. And I know what challenges I had to deal with. So I'm going to double
Yeah.
down on them. And so, like I said, I don't think it's any of it like malicious or anything. I think
Right.
with the best of intentions.
Yes. Agreed.
And so, but we start finding ourselves getting a really narrowed view about
Mhm.
ourselves, and then if our depending upon the levels of those fear our parents have is how much we worry about stepping outside the lines even now as adults.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Our parents are just super into making sure we don't step on, potential landmines that we're
Yeah.
now afraid to walk as adults.
Yeah. Yep.
And so it's like, well, yeah, well, yeah, well, they told us that when we were 9. I said, we're 37 now,
But the mental barriers there.
but
Yeah.
we're still afraid to do something different because all that conditioning and programming has me. Well, but what if I make a mistake, or what if this goes wrong, or what if this is, well, see, it's difficult. So that must be something telling me I shouldn't be doing this,
Mm-hmm.
or all those things that were kind of programmed into us. But like I said, if we take away okay, I'm not even gonna say that was good or bad parenting, good or
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if I've reached a place in my life, if I'm 28, 37, 45, 52, whatever, and I want my life to look differently, I'm going to now need to start implementing some different behaviors.
Yes.
I'm going to
Yeah.
need to start doing something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that some of that stuff will come easy, most of it probably won't. But
Mm-hmm.
if I want to get into a different position in my life, that's where I'm going to have to start.
Mm-hmm. That's good. This is so good. We could talk about this stuff all day. It reminds me of some of our older episodes. And if you want to, if you are new here and you enjoy what Jermaine is saying, we have a ton of old episodes. Whatever search engine you're using for the podcast, if you type in our names, it'll come up. And the goal behind it is like self-awareness without judgment, right? And the premise of my podcast in general is about shifting the way you think and how when you're feeling stuck. And I just think about the way Jermaine like the practice that he has around this self-awareness piece, how much it helps and plays a role in working on change. And that's something that, the information, just notice. One of the I always talk to people, just notice what's going on. No judgment, just notice. And that's literally how you've been operating when we talk about things. So I appreciate that. If people want to get the book, My
Yes.
Keys to Me, tell people where they can find it.
Uh, say first one stop shop and you can get it on Amazon right now. It's My Keys to Me, Strategies to Rise and Thrive. It's the right key at the right time. And it's by me, Jermaine Morris. It's available on Amazon now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations again on the book. I'm excited for it all. I love the fact that you decided to create your own thing and because you're already doing the work, so why not
Yeah,
give people access to that? So I appreciate you for being here. Definitely gonna have you back before the year's over.
nice.
Anything you want to say to the audience before we go?
Uh, Specifically you, thank you again. I always tell everybody my favorite person in mental health.
Oh,
Always love doing this. And yeah, remember, so if anybody out there is making their changes or adjustments, not even just a New Year's resolution, but
right.
just just a daily challenge. Just
Hmm.
remember that you can't think your way out of something that you behaved your way
Yeah,
into. It's
yeah.
going to require some motion. It's going to require some action.
Yes, that's good. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, I will talk to you later.